Alright, so in this video, I'm going to be talking about the iDubbbz and RiceGum beef that's heated up again recently. If you weren't aware, the drama between these two started like 3 or 4 years ago when iDubbbz made a content cop video on RiceGum, and then soon after that, RiceGum went on Drama Alert and called out iDubbbz and said he wanted to box him, and since then, the talk between these two has died down a bit, and no one was really sure if they were going to box or not, until the other day when iDubbbz released a video titled "You're Hiding From Me," and in this video, he pretty much says that he's been trying to set up this boxing match for a while, and RiceGum has just been dodging him, and now it just looks like RiceGum is scared to box this dude. So now let's just take a look at this video and see what iDubbbz has to say.
Hello everyone. For the past 4 months, I have been dealing with a child by the name of Brian. Little baby Brian, aka RiceGum, reached out to me back in 2018. Well, he tried to reach out to me. I wasn't following him, so I saw it on Drama Alert. He wanted to do a boxing match.
Down. If he's down, we'll make it happen. If not, then he's a pussy.
Fast forward to present day, June 2021, not completely present, but this year, RiceGum reaches out to my wife, my precious wife. And you know what he says? He says that iDubbbz is irrelevant and that he's fallen off.
This shit is hilarious. Earlier this year, RiceGum reached out to iDubbbz's wife to tell him he wants to box. If that's true, and now RiceGum is scared to box, he is the biggest embarrassment of all time. You could tell RiceGum is just all talk. Like, this guy will never actually box anybody.
I took on all the responsibility of organizing this event because I'm not going to have Keemstar do that. For the past 4 months, I have been grinding nonstop. I have been flying to LA, Las Vegas, having meetings over Zoom, meeting up with boxing managers, boxing promoters, looking at venues. I even went and got LASIK eye surgery. That was my brand, wearing the glasses. I got LASIK eye surgery so my contacts don't roll to the back of my head when I inevitably get punched in the face. Finally, after 4 months of searching, I find a guy who can set up a bomb-ass event. The boxing promoter and I reach out to RiceGum and we say, we're ready. We're ready to set up this event. And what does RiceGum do? He ghosts the boxing promoter repeatedly. He ghosts me repeatedly. And then when I finally am able to contact him, he says things like, oh, my neck is sore. Okay, what? From playing Fortnite?
It's crazy. It sounds like you put a lot of work into this to set it all up and everything, and then RiceGum just ghosts him. But I mean, he should have expected that. Of course this dude's not actually gonna fight. He's such a joke. Like, imagine reaching out to someone's wife and acting like a tough guy and being like, hey, tell your man to go box me. And then she's like, all right, yeah, sure. And then you're like, oh no, I didn't want to actually box. If this is all true, the whole internet should be clowning on this guy right now.
Your neck's sore. And why do I give a shit if your neck is sore? He's talking about how it's not enough money. And I'm like, what do you mean not enough money? He wants like $1 million+, and I'm like, RiceGum, you're a gangly loser that has 0 boxing experience, and you're not even very famous. Why the fuck do you think any network is going to pay you $1 million+ to fight? You don't even have other talents. There's no reason to ask for $1 million.
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna reach out to someone's wife and tell her that you want her husband to box you, I feel like you should be ready to do it for free. And he's not even asking him to do it for free. I'm sure RiceGum would get a nice paycheck, which I know he'd probably say that it's not much money for him because he's got all that money from getting underage kids to start gambling.
I'm getting a little off topic. RiceGum was going to earn more than anyone else, okay? I'm not taking a salary on this boxing event. My earnings are going to pay all the other fighters and for charity, okay? So RiceGum would be earning the most, hands down, yet he's still wimping out. I'm trying to tell him all the upside. I'm like, dude, you could sell merch. You can turn me into the alien from Family Guy, get knocked out on the front of a t-shirt. You could sell that and make a lot of revenue. But he's so focused on getting money for like just existing. And it's like, you don't make money from just existing. You actually have to do the tiniest bit of work to leverage it.
And how much money was RiceGum actually expecting to get from this? Because he's not even that big of a name anymore. Like, what the hell does he even do? Does he just Twitch stream now? Like, I don't understand how anybody could sit there and watch him for more than 10 minutes. Like, everything about him annoys me. And I get it's probably a bunch of little kids, but I still don't know how they can watch him. This guy's such a goofball. The guy thinks he's a tough guy and calls people out to fight, and then when it comes down to fighting, he just backs out. Even kids could figure out that that's the most cowardly move ever. The only thing that's more cowardly than that is showing up to the fight and then having someone step in to fight for you.
And who knows, maybe if you win, you'll make even more money. Think about the opportunities. You can then fight Jake Paul, beat him, then fight Logan Paul. Think about all the opportunities there are. Ricey Poo, Rice Chump. The other excuse that he used is that there wasn't enough hype. And I'm like, what do you mean not enough hype? No, we're not talking about the fight. Of course there's no hype around it. And he also probably should have thought about that before contacting me again in June of 2021. Why are you DMing my wife if you don't actually want to fight? That seems like a serious inquiry, don't you think?
Yeah, there's no hype because you're reaching out to this guy's wife in private. Like, why don't you make a video calling him out and saying like, hey, iDubbbz, I'm gonna kick your ass. Like, then there'll be some hype around it. But obviously he won't do that because he doesn't actually want to fight.
So this is pretty much my last attempt reasoning with RiceGum. You're earning more money than anyone else on the card. My money's going to charity, so I'm like, it's a good cause. It's going to be a hella amazing event. It's nostalgic. It's kind of weird. I don't think anyone would expect you and I to fight, which would be super fascinating. And 4, it's an even match. We're both 6'1" or 2, and we both weigh about the same. So it'll be pretty fair and interesting. It's not going to be like that New Maine versus Blueface fight where it's like a little midget facing off against a like the longest, lankiest giant in the world. I want it to be a good event, and I want the person I'm fighting to be at least, like, I want it to make sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel like this would be a decent fight. I would expect iDubbbz to win, though, because RiceGum just seems frail, and obviously he's scared. Like, he doesn't have the confidence to go fight him after he's called him out multiple times, so he obviously thinks he's gonna lose, so why the hell should I have confidence in him? And also, I feel like a lot of people would tune into this fight, because it seems like an even matchup, and these two are two people, like he said, that you wouldn't expect to fight. And I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that would love to see RiceGum get knocked out, and maybe even iDubbbz get knocked out. And if they could somehow get Ethan Klein and Keemstar to fight on the same card too, this would be one of the best fighting events ever. Like, no matter what, people would probably be talking about this for like the next 10 years. And also, that's probably what scares RiceGum about the fight too, is if he's nervous about fighting and he thinks he might get knocked out, and there could possibly be a meme of him unconscious on the ground and iDubbbz standing over him, like, that's gonna live on for eternity. I think they should try to work out some deal where Keemstar tries to get RiceGum to fight iDubbbz, and iDubbbz tries to get Ethan Klein to fight Keemstar. And also, I think this might be good for Ethan because he's always talking about how he's unhealthy and he needs to lose weight. So I think this would be great motivation. Like, the opportunity to knock Keemstar out, like, I'm sure he would work his ass off to try to do that. And he also has the money to hire the best personal trainers in the world. So I think if he took this fight and had the motivation to fight and knock out Keemstar, he would probably get in decent shape.
Right? Like, a nemesis for me is obviously RiceGum. Another nemesis who was going to be the backup, Keemstar. When I reached out to him saying, hey, would you replace RiceGum? What did he say? The only person I'd fight is Ethan. I don't think Keemstar's at all confident that he can fight and beat me. And that's fair. He's like 5'6" or something like that. If you guys have any other influencers in mind that wouldn't wimp out on a boxing match, I am so beyond down. I don't care how big and strong they are. I don't care how athletic they are. I don't care how short or tall they are. I'll fight Dr. Disrespect. I don't care. I'll break his little scrawny leg.
Damn, this dude sounds confident right now. Like, there's no way I'd fight Logan Paul or Jake Paul, but also you get a giant check from that, so I don't know, maybe. But iDubbbz said personally he's not even gonna make any money from this, so this is a pretty risky move here, because if he fights Logan Paul or Jake Paul, he's probably gonna get knocked out and it's gonna be embarrassing. I think right now, behind RiceGum, people want to see him fight Jay Station, which that could be a pretty good fight.
In half. He will get absolutely destroyed by me. Let me know. I want to hear in the comments. I want to know what you think would happen in a fight versus me and RiceGum, because, like, I'm sad. I'm very sad because I want the event to happen. I spent a lot of time doing it, and RiceGum is just fucking, like, not being cooperative at all, and it sucks. Ass. All right, guys. Thank you for hearing me out. I'll hopefully have an update soon. Maybe I'll talk about, you know, if this RiceGum thing doesn't work out, I'll make fun of him some more and also talk about the people who will be potentially replacing him. That would be ideal.
So it sounds like he's still looking to put on this event no matter what, even if RiceGum backs out, which I hope he can get RiceGum to do it, because I feel like that would be the best fight. But even if it's Jay Station, I don't think as many people will tune into it, but it should be entertaining. And I hope iDubbbz does continue to go after RiceGum and talk trash to him, because if he keeps avoiding the fight, it's only going to make him look worse every day. Like, if iDubbbz really keeps going after him, I think eventually he'll either have to take the fight or just admit that he's a giant coward. And it looks like he's going to take the coward route, because he responded to this and it made him look like 10 times worse. So this is what RiceGum had to say. He said, I didn't watch the vid. Keem said school shooter, who he's referring to iDubbbz, called me out. First off, it's crazy how everyone says I'm always craving clout and want attention. I haven't posted in over a year and on a different wave. I thought iDubbbz would grow up and be more mature, but he's on the same childish energy, still making YouTube videos. How old are you? How am I retired and richer than you? Wasn't RiceGum one of these people that was promoting gambling to kids earlier this year? Is that the new wave he's on? Is that what he's talking about? Yeah, that's very mature. Yeah, making YouTube videos is very childish, but doing a Twitch stream where you promote gambling to a bunch of 14 and 15-year-olds is mature. And it's the worst kind of gambling too. It's slot machines and shit, like where you just hit a button and it says you win or lose. Like, there's no skill involved at all. And RiceGum's able to retire so early because he has no respect for his fans and he's just trying to squeeze every dollar out of them. And then RiceGum goes on to say, how am I retired and richer than you? At 23, I retired. You 31, still trying to YouTube box. Cringe. When I actually did social media, here's a tweet in 2018 of me wanting to fight. So there was your chance. So now you want to fight? Why not when I asked you? You are not on my level. I left YouTube averaging 2 mil a vid. But yet you reached out to iDubbbz's wife this year wanting to box. Like, if that's true, then this is just so embarrassing. Like, you think it's cringe to box, yet you go through this guy's wife to try to box him, and then once he says he'll do it, you back out at the last second. And then RiceGum goes on to say, I come back, you still not at 10 million subs, and your latest videos ain't even breaking 2 mil. LMFAO. I typed this in 30 seconds. That's how much I care about you. Yeah, it looks like you typed this in 30 seconds. This is so embarrassing. You definitely should have thought about it longer and had a better response. So he goes on to say, that's how much I care about you. You broke. Your most popular vid is me and you're trying everything to stay relevant. It's actually sad. I thought you were one of the cool YouTubers, that low key, but you clout hungry just like them all. This whole response is just sad. Like, if it's true that this guy earlier this year messaged iDubbbz's wife to try to get him to box box, and then iDubbbz sets up this whole event, and then he backs out, and this is his response for backing out. This is just the most pathetic thing ever. Like, this dude is clearly scared shitless to fight, and he just thinks of whatever excuse he can to dodge the fight. If you're gonna act like a tough guy and call people out and try to fight them, then you gotta back it up. You can't just be like, oh, that shit's cringe, I can't believe you're doing that. Like, you're the one who started all this, and it's cringe to back out of a fight once someone set it all up and you said you would fight them. This is just a terrible look for RiceGum, but basically everything he does is a terrible look for him, so this isn't out of the ordinary. Hopefully he just stops acting like a baby and agrees to fight iDubbbz eventually, so then people actually have a little respect for him. But I don't know, right now it just seems like he's trying to weasel his way out of it. So that's about all I have for this video. Make sure to leave me a comment, let me know if you think this fight's gonna happen and who you think's gonna win, and then hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and I'll catch you at the next video.